Hi there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 307 of our Be a Better You annual challenge. Also, day 3 of our No Nonsense November. Every day this month, we're talking about a topic that I have found in the last 5+ decades to be really, really helpful in not only my life, but in my businesses and my career, etc. as well. And today's topic, I'm kind of combining two topics because I've noticed that when I brainstormed my list, I didn't talk about this one thing, which is actually something I have taught myself to be very, very good at. So today we're talking about drama in our life and consistency. I think consistency, creating consistent habits that serve us, are a great antidote to drama. Now, drama has everything to do with what kind of stories we're telling ourselves, right? We can tell ourselves stories that support us in our life or stories that break us down and don't support us in our life. We can be our own best cheerleader or our own worst enemy. You know, that whole angel devil on our shoulder thing. That is so true because that's what's going on in all of our heads all the time, whether we're aware of it or not. So I can think of a lot of places where I am overly dramatic in my life. I worry too much about my granddaughters. And that's actually something that I'm working on with somebody, because if I worry, that adds more negative energy into the world and the universe. And it's more likely to attract negative things than if I don't worry at all. And I trust that they are awesome little human beings and will always do the right thing for them and take care of themselves and be safe and all those things. So drama is the first area I want to talk about today. Where are you in your life being overly dramatic or overly fearful and cautious? Because when I think about it, if I'm being dramatic about something, it's usually got something to do with something that I think that I'm afraid of. Now, my subconscious is always feeding me up stuff and stories from the past, which most of them are either lies, outright lies and not true for me now, or I've totally outgrown them. But the things I was afraid of when I was 3 to 20 years old are very different than the things that I would have to fear now. There are very few things that I am afraid of anymore. I still don't like snakes, but I'm not really, I guess I am afraid of them. So where are we creating more drama by the stories we're telling ourselves in our life? Share one of those in the comments below, or just say, got it, meaning I'm going to address it, I'm going to deal with it today. The other thing I want to talk about, because I forgot to put it in my list, is consistency. And I don't know if I've always been consistent and persistent, or if it's just something that I've developed since my sudden cardiac arrest with annual goal setting and things. And I've always liked to have an annual goal and something that I was working toward, a big, hairy, audacious thing. But since my cardiac arrest, I've really created a framework and a way of dealing with each of the different areas and aspects of my life, setting a big, hairy, audacious goal in all of those, and then breaking it down into little teeny bite-sized daily pieces. Why? Because I know I can do a teeny tiny thing every day. And if I just consistently do one little thing every day, by the end of the year, I'm not just better, I'm exponentially better in certain ways, because I have done 365 things to make myself a better human being, which is what this challenge is all about. Breaking everything down into teeny tiny bite-sized pieces. So it's so easy to do, it's almost ludicrous to say, oh, I didn't do the challenge today, because it's so easy and it's got a compounding effect. I challenge anybody that's been here with me all year so far to say that they are worse off than they were at the beginning of the year in all the different areas and aspects of their life that we have talked about. I guarantee that you're not, because you're focusing on what you want, not on what you don't want. So as far as consistency goes, small habits, single daily action creates massive results, which is really what we're all after. Showing up consistently, and I used to tell my kids this about school, 80%, probably more like 90% of success in anything in life is just getting your rear there, showing up and being awake for some of it, right? How many people are just walking through their life or sleeping through their life and not really even present in the things that are happening around them and to them? I would say a lot of the population, right? A lot of our population, at least in America, and I'm sure other countries as well, is just going through the motions of living their life because of the stories they're telling themselves in their head. I learned this lesson early on, and I'm going to share this story in Supersize Your Business about being calm and not being overly dramatic when there's chaos, like in business or in life. In my corporate career, I had a gentleman cut off his finger at work. He was not the most safety conscious young man. And we had to shut down everything and find his finger. And then I had to take him to the hospital, but everybody else was panicking. And I'm like, guys, just stop, breathe. Let's look for the finger. We need to find the finger, get it on ice. I'm taking him to the hospital to get him treated right now. I need that finger to follow us as soon as possible. And that did happen. They found the finger, sewed his finger back on. But it was super traumatic and dramatic for everybody. And I'm not going to lie, it was dramatic for me, but I wasn't going to show it at the time to the people that I was working with, because it was my job to be the leader and not be dramatic and solve the problem and focus on what needed to be done, not all the emotion around it. Now, I did go home and cry that night, not going to lie, because it was crazy emotional. So what are we doing today? For an action item today, I challenge you to choose one small thing, if you haven't done it already, to do between now and for the next 7 days, today and for 7 days. And I'm going to check back. I already put it in my book to ask back and check back to see if you've done the thing. So share in the comments below one thing you're going to do for the next 7 days. I don't care if it's, I'm going to drink a glass of water a day, or if it's, I'm going to take a deep breath whenever I want to react instead of respond. Pick one thing and say, I am going to do this for 7 days. And what I like to do is take a little Post-it note and check off every day, or cross it off on the calendar. That's how I started to be consistent. And then once something becomes a habit, you just commit to yourself that you're not going to stop it. I've made videos, 2,835 days in a row. Today will be 2,836. I missed 1 day for COVID, but that's pretty consistent because I told myself I was going to do it no matter what. Do I get a lot of heat for it? Oh yeah, my family thinks it's crazy. But guess what? My family aren't who I'm here to serve. I mean, I serve them in some ways, but not with respect to the content that I create and share. All right, any questions? Hit me up. Comments below. Done. And then the thing you're going to do, because we're going to hold each other accountable. I have not decided what I'm going to do, but I'll put mine in the comments below too, so y'all can hold me accountable. Have an awesome day, and I'll, of course, be with you tomorrow.